Off and on the clock with the Badge Bros. We are running through the week 7 slate on Underdog. We are going to do an ADP overview, slate overview. We'll then get into our favorite ADP values, scroll down plays this week, and then we'll try to talk some specific tournament strategy. Obviously, for the 6-person large field BR, we got another 50,000 up top. We'll also hit on some small field strategy with the week 7 Deposit Kingdom contest dropping and the 12-person contest as well, as we all continue to chase those Dawg Bowl seats in trips to Dallas. And then you know what we do at the end. We spice it up with some pick'ems, cores, expanded cores, expanded cores. It's what we do here. It is Off and On the Clock with Pete, John, and Nez. Let's do it. All right, fellas, we got John in a nice little Seattle Mariners hoodie here, and not Nez, but Mr. Free Justin Fields himself. How are we doing, fellas?
It's a little solemn. I didn't think that this would happen with Justin Fields. So thankfully, I don't have to worry about this on the main slate. But it's been kind of a sad week, man. I didn't think that this would happen, but it unfortunately has. And yeah, I'm just dealing with it. John, how are you?
I can't think of a quarterback situation where a team was 4-2 and the quarterback thrown 1 interception and he got benched.
That's beloved by everyone in the locker room and whatever. Like, this isn't like a malcontent who's pissed everyone off and they're like, all right, let's just get him out of here. Like, everything's going how they would have hoped it would have gone with Justin Fields.
I agree.
Honestly, there must have been some closed door agreement handshake thing that Russ would get X amount of starts or something, right? Like that. They signed him first. They must have made some contingent promise. It's the only thing that makes sense.
I think that's what's up. I think that they like promised him that he would get a crack at starting. And here it is, Sunday Night Football against the Jets. Have at it, buddy.
I know, Nez, I enjoy the Steelers. I think they're a fun team, but I really want them to eat shit this weekend. I want to see Russell Wilson get absolutely devoured, and then we can move on with the rest of the season.
I'm rooting for my Steelers. I want Justin Fields. I want Russell Wilson to fail. I really do.
All right, fellas, let's dig in. I already kind of mentioned the show flow. If you guys watch us weekly, you are familiar with it. If you guys are new here, we are simulcasting on both my channel and the Badge Bros. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both of them. If you're watching this on my channel, the Badge Bros. There you go. There's your
little showcase. Yeah.
Yeah. They do multiple shows a week, really early preview shows. They do the winner's circle on Mondays to celebrate people in the community who win. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the Badge Bros. But guys, what are you seeing right now on this Underdog slate?
Everything. I mean, it's insane. It is genuinely, it's so fun to go from like 2 weeks ago where we had the self-proclaimed Mickey Mouse slate to this slate where it's like, I genuinely I like ADPs like 1 through like 50. I know we go to 36, but like there are like my player pool is so deep this week that I'm like kind of struggling a little bit on how to differentiate because the plays that I like the most are there every time in these 6-person drafts. And I'm really, I need to be very cognizant and intentional when I go to these lobbies about who I'm going to take, because you can essentially do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. And if you don't break out of that and you just go by your ranks, your exposure is going to be so concentrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a really good point there, Nez. I think one thing for me is I really want to try and funnel away from 1-1-3-1s in the main BR because the field seems to be getting there at the highest rate I've seen yet. And I think it's because of the way all these plays are concentrating, and then the scrolls at running back aren't as appealing as like clicking Tyreek Hill or Deebo Samuel or someone like that in the last rounds. So for me, I'm trying to find some of those grosser scrolls in the 6-persons that, people aren't really wanting to get to. And then in the 12-persons, man, I'm just trying to punt the hell out of quarterback. I think this slate is really defined by what you do with Jaden Daniels, both in the 12s and in the 6s. And I'm basically full fade this week just because of the opportunity cost associated with like taking Jaden Daniels at, I've seen him go as high as 4 in the Dawg Bowl stuff. And then, he goes first, second round every single time in the 6 persons when there are infinite scroll levers to pull elsewhere, right?
I was thinking about that this morning. I did my first couple of Dawg Bowl drafts and just seeing the amount of quarterbacks, available in the 6. You want Mahomes, you want Purdy, you want Darnold, you want Goff, you want Anthony Richardson. They're all there. And I'm like, Jaden Daniels has to drop like 35 to like pay off like that price tag. Like it is tough specifically in that dynamic. It's an entirely different conversation, I think, in the 6 person, but man, it seems like everyone is just in agreement in those 12s to punt quarterback. Are you seeing that, Nez?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's mostly been a handshake agreement that like, hey, we're all just going to like wait on quarterback and hopefully nobody's stepping on each other's toes. Has really been what I see. I agree. Daniels is a hard click in the 12-person drafts, but if you can get him to fall toward the end of the first in those Dawg Bowl streets, and you can get the Terry stack with him, and then get a 6th-round Ertz to cap things off with that team. This Panthers defense is like generationally terrible, I mean this offense and with the Commanders is pretty damn concentrated. I mean, you can play it a couple of different ways. So I agree that like given the dynamics, it's a thin bet, but man, if there's ever a week where 1st-round quarterback hits, it's Jaden Daniels against these Panthers. I mean, they don't do anything well.
Yeah, traditionally speaking, 1st-round quarterback has played bad in the 6 persons, according to like JVB's data and stuff like that when we look back. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny the spot, like just in general, right? I think I really like what you mentioned there in regards to the 12s, Nez, is if you are going to play Jaden Daniels and you're going to ape into the fact that everybody else is taking him 1 through 6, the times in which you should do it are when you can pair it with Terry at the back end of the draft board there, or do it in the scrolly F down fashion because everybody else is playing him naked. Do it in the scrolly F down and take Noah Brown in the last round, or take Ertz in the last round, because then at least you're finding some other piece of leverage to go alongside just running him at ADP.
Yeah. I think with how bad, I mean, Jam was really just hammering it home on Block Party of how bad the Panthers are against the ground. I think Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson pairings are in play in both 6 and 12, but definitely the 12 there. I feel like the other big kind of story to this slate, and I guess like a lot of slates, is all the Q tags, because there are some big ones. I saw Cooper Kupp officially listed as questionable. Seems like Aaron Jones is trending in the right direction. I don't know if I've seen anything definitive on Jordan Mason yet. I don't know if we got TJ Hawkinson stuff yet, Dallas Goedert, but like there's a lot of dominoes here that could really affect how you want to attack some of these spots.
For Hawkinson, the latest thing I've seen is like it's trending more toward Thursday Night Football for him next week.
Okay.
So yeah, gotta wait and see on that. But that's the latest I heard. And then I think McVay like literally just said Cooper Kupp trending more toward game time decision, not official yet. So wait and see on that. That's been like a hell of a dynamic in the 6-person drafts. I mean, you know me, I'm like king of like Q tag leverage for those main BRs. And I mean, he's there in the last round almost every single draft.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about him being there in the last round is the fact that he's a flex swap, and there's not a ton of swap equity ahead of him in these drafts, because now we know we have neighbors in. Like in the 12 persons, a lot can still unfold. Like, the Aaron Jones thing could happen, or JT earlier in the week is going to be a swap, and you can't necessarily get exactly who you want in the 12s. But in the 6s, if he can't go, I'm just going to get someone who I have more information, like the classic stay on the clock adage, and it can be a flex play too. So I really like him. I think he's a better click than Jordan Mason is in the 6, because you're either getting a 1st-round wide receiver on like a dense, concentrated passing offense there, and it's fucking Cooper Kupp, or you're getting this leverage swing to get exploitative on somebody else that nobody else has in the 6 persons, like James Cook, for instance, who's going to also be like 4, 5, 8% owned when it's all said and done.
Yeah, maybe even less.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Cooper Cup stuff feels like more binary, right? Like if he plays, like the team is clearly feels good about where he's at, he feels good, and you're gonna walk right into 10 plus targets again. Whereas the Mason one, I mean, we literally saw it happen on Thursday night, right? He came back to start the second half, and it was a pain tolerance thing. And he was just like, man, this is too painful. And he took him off. So, like, who's to say he doesn't start again? You're not getting your swap. And then, he comes out, or they're, maybe they're beating the Chiefs, and they just are like, all right, we'll just use Garendo or whatever. So there's a lot more ways that goes wrong, but I don't know. One thing I've learned over the years is when a play really makes me feel uncomfortable is probably when I need to lean into it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue doing Jordan Mason. I know there's a lot of, not a lot of hype on Aaron Jones either. People are worried about the matchup. That's another one that I really want to lean into. And I like that game environment. And his workload has just been awesome when he is on the field. Like Aaron Jones to me feels like more of a binary proposition, right? Like he's either going to get his 20 plus touches and like do pretty good, or the game is going to fail or whatever. But like, I guess I'm just not worried about the injury stuff that he's returning from.
It's also the cleanest swap in the world if we don't get him, because nobody takes Ty Chandler. So if so like Ty Chandler doesn't go in the 12s, right? So that there's a pretty clean out for you there. And it feels like people will push up other targets ahead of him. Like they'll probably do the Trey Sermon or the Goodson stuff. Like, ETR has Sermon popping off the charts right now for whatever reason. So if people are just drag and dropping and following suit with that one, like I'll take that Ty Chandler swing.
Should we pull up some ADPs here, John, and we can kind of start looking at some stuff that interests us here as far as ADP values and scroll down plays, and also we can check in the middle range here. I guess always kind of a fun place to start is like how deep the top echelon goes for you guys. It does seem like it extends a little further for me than in previous weeks. I'm maybe willing to take it to 12, 13, 14 players as opposed to like the 8 or 9 in previous weeks. How are you guys feeling at the top?
I think
yeah, good, John.
No, I think the defining line in the sand that we've talked about in the past is like when the first quarterback goes. I think the defining line in the sand for me this week is when the 3 tight ends go.
Yeah.
So like I'm pretty comfortable up until like basically like I have London ahead of like where ADP has it right now, but that Terry McLaurin like kind of tipping point. Let me scroll a little bit here. That Terry McLaurin kind of like tipping point coupled with these 3 tight ends is my line in the sand, where it's like, all right, wheels up to just scroll the F down and do whatever you want, because I would rather scroll to, I mean, maybe this is like just like an isolated bad take or something, but like everybody likes Chuba this week, and maybe rightfully so, given the I always want to say Reds against Commanders, red zone defense and stuff like that. But I will just fade this middle tier, and it's like it's not the most comfortable fade in the world because it's probably in quotations good chalk, and then I will just start clicking around down here for leverage for my flex play. So I will be big stars and scrubs in the traditional sense of DFS this week in the 6 persons.
Yeah, six persons, man, are just like a ton of fun. I really do think that, I mean, I know I just start off with the 6 persons, but if you need to have ranks if you're doing the 12-person drafts, because if you do not have ranks and that like first clump of like good plays goes, you're looking at quarterbacks and tight ends like forever. So like set ranks, and then that way you're not just staring at a sea of purple and blue and like uncertain of like what to draft. It makes like for a much cleaner experience for the 12 persons. 6-person drafts, I've been very much leaning into like my takes on these game environments. We started off talking about the Panthers, and for me, like I've been making Brian Robinson like either my RB1 or RB2 in so many of these 6-person drafts. Limited practices. Felt like he could have played last week almost. He had like the full DNPs, but did that the week prior. Love this spot for Brian Robinson against the Panthers. So for me, he's been like one of my like more comfortable clicks. As far as scrolling down, I mean, it's really tough because you are seeing guys that are in the ADP range of like should be drafted every time, but like are available in the last round. So it's really not as like clean cut as far as like who is the scroll this week as it is in weeks past, just because of how deep it is. So I'm trying not to really overthink that too much in the 6-person drafts and just really take the players that I like the most, even if they are, a little bit of ownership be damned. I'm feeling a little bit harder about trying to find those true leverage, low ownership plays at the moment.
I'm with you. I have my like own arbitrary threshold when I do my video on Deposit Kingdom, and I try to get them like under 15%, is what I'm aiming for. And obviously, I fudge it if I really like a play, but this week there are a lot more in the 15 to 30% range that I like, which kind of speaks to what you're saying, where like they go a third of the time in the 6th round. They're not like mega leverage, but they do stand out. I went a little IKB in the Deposit Kingdom with a running back and wide receiver, where that same thing where I'm like, all right, if I'm going to give you a true gem here, like I'm not going to get as many targets and touches for you as we're normally getting, because like you said, it's a little harder, which is weird, right? Because intuitively I would think it's a little deeper at the top, 12, 13, then you got the tight ends you just talked about. Wouldn't that push down the talent, and have better scrolls? But I don't feel like that's the case.
I really don't either.
This is where John says, I love 26 different scrolls.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
No, I get where you guys are. I get where you guys are coming from. I think the reason for it is the middle tier of plays are propped up this week, where they would have been upper echelon like plays on not a as talent laden slate,
like a Metcalf type.
Yeah. Like Metcalf would be a top 12
Gibbs
pick. Gibbs would be up there. He was up there last week. Chuba would be up there this week. But now that we're, kind of like blessed with all this upper echelon super talent coming back to the slate, the middle tier is like, oh, these are guys we used to click in the 1st round or 2nd round. So they feel like warm and fuzzy for good reason, right?
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the like the Gibbs. I mean, there are by the dip on these former top 10 guys, right? Debo lived up there outside. Gibbs lived up there. Jaden Reed was an ADP of 9 last week. He's now incredibly cheap. Like these guys we were willing to draft earlier and they just somewhat fail or don't fully get home, or Debo's on the island game slate. That's kind of an interesting angle to me.
Yeah, there's just so many fun game environments to attack that I really do kind of find myself going like really concentrated on specific game environments. I am, of course, mixing up my roster constructions, some one-offs here, some game stacks there. But what I really think is, a good move this week is to concentrate on one of these specific games that we think can really pop off, which really is just like not anything new, right? This is sort of like what we've been saying mostly for small field, but I think this can work this week as well, because I don't think all these games are going to be awesome, right? I mean, they profile as all awesome games, nothing but fireworks. I think you can paint a lot of pictures as to how almost all of these games do have ways of failing. So concentrating around one of them and hoping the other ones don't perform, I think is a really smart angle this week. I personally go ahead.
No, which is your favorite? Yeah.
Seattle and Atlanta. Okay. I keep trying to poke holes in that. And like, I do this every week where like, I find a spot that I love. It's my number 1 spot. And I'm just like, nah, there's no way you're right. Like how can you be wrong about this specific spot? Yeah. I have a lot of trouble getting off this. And one of my favorite things about this is like, I think Cousins and Geno both can put up scores that will rival, if not be QB1, and they're completely free. Like the leverage you get on if that happens in the 6-person drafts, I think can be huge because of how low their ownership will be in these drafts. To me, it just looks like such an amazing spot. The Seattle, I think it hinges upon Seattle being effective, which the volume's been there. The effectiveness has not quite been there, but we also had some big plays called back last week with DK Metcalf. If they can do their part, I really trust the way that the Falcons have been playing, that they can do theirs. And man, there's plays all over the board for this game. And it's by far my number 1 spot.
Yeah. And it might become more concentrated if you lose Tyler Lockett too.
Yep.
Is he questionable?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he DNP Thursday, and he's got a knee issue. I don't know if we have the Friday practice report yet.
Interesting. All right, John, let's let you cook because you, you like, I could tell you were very angry when Nez and I were like, it's not a great scroll down slate, and John has some rabbits up his hat. So, start pulling them out. Do your party tricks.
Okay. Do we want to go position by position?
Yeah, let's do it.
Pick a position and let's start there.
All right, quarterback.
Okay, let's start with the running back position. Okay, fine. Quarterback it is.
I think your internet's cutting out for a second here, John.
Oh, my bad.
Just a little laggy. Okay. That's all. You're good now.
A little laggy, a little Canadian jet lag. Okay, so Nez obviously hit the Geno one already. Sam Darnold's popping in everybody's projections. I think the nice thing about quarterback in the 6-persons this week is like, man, you can get Jalen Hurts in the 6th round like routinely, which means he won't be fully drafted, which means do we have to really scroll that far in the 6-persons this week? Which is an interesting dynamic at quarterback because this is like the number 1 week at quarterback that I've been like, I kind of want to scroll the least. But yeah, the other positions I really want to scroll at because I'm basically just like full fading Jordan Love and I'm taking Hurts in the 6th when I can get him. And then everything else, I'm going to do Geno. I'm going to do Darnold. I've done a shit ton of Anthony Richardson in the 12s. And I've done some Matthew Stafford doubles in the 12-persons right now. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at quarterback. How about you guys?
With Parkinson, I assume?
I haven't done Parkinson because I think Kupp's gonna play. So I think the Parkinson projection is really fragile and it's like entirely hinging upon Kupp. So I will use him as like as a swap. I've done it with Kyron and Kupp as a
okay. I was gonna say, yeah, Whitting. I was like, are you getting to Whittington there? But with Kyron makes sense.
Not yet.
Yeah, for me, one of my like favorite scrolls that I've been doing is Neighbors with Danny Dimes. Okay. I really think, I'm really excited to get Neighbors back. The projections don't like, I mean, they like him, right? It's Malik Neighbors, but they don't love him as much as like I love him. And so for me, I'm like, okay, I think this is a leverage spot for me to attack Neighbors in the 6-person drafts and then pair him with Danny Dimes. Anytime Danny Dimes is drafted, it's like it's always with Malik Neighbors, but I think the number of teams that exist with those two are going to be low enough that like I don't really care. I'll hold hands with you guys, and then I'll just it's a 4v4 after that. I love it. I really do. I think Danny Dimes has looked pretty decent this season. I'm not like overly intimidated by the Philadelphia Eagles defense. It's at home. It's a divisional game. Let Dimes cook, man. If he can hit if he can hit Neighbors and then do a little bit on the ground as well, I think they got something cooking here. They got a really nice like full wide receiver core right now with Neighbors, Wandale, and Slayton like breaking out in Neighbors' absence. Like I don't know how you can put the toothpaste back in the tube with Slayton. So I really like the way this offense is shaping out, man.
Yeah, and I was just looking like at the ownership on the Draft Caddy. Like it is an interesting conversation. You take Darnold, right, who I'm seeing still sub 20%, but like 19% of that is going to include Jefferson. The Dimes one, I'm seeing him at 7%. So it's like you don't even have to worry about the ownership on like Neighbors Dime stuff. And it's not like you're trying to get leverage by going Dimes Wandale. Like if you're playing the Giants, like you better have Neighbors on that team because it will not be a fun exercise otherwise. So yeah, I like that call out a lot. I'm obviously in on the Darnold stuff. I love that. Yeah, Darnold and Geno feel like that sweet spot. Game environment, projection, stacking weapons, ownership. Like I really like those two.
The other one that's kind of interesting that everybody's taking Deontay Johnson and Chuba every single draft, but nobody's taking Dalton. So like that's for the 12 ones specifically. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Crutch is saying that Stafford hasn't hit his ceiling or anything like that. Like Stafford's hit ceiling more times than Patrick Mahomes has in the last 2 years. So, I mean, you don't need ceiling
is a big part of that.
Right. Exactly. Right. It's like, it's basically all of it. That's why I'm only doing it with Kupp. Right.
Well, I think the way you're doing it is probably the only way I would consider it with Kyron, and then you're really just hoping Kyron catches a pass for a touchdown too to reach that like uber high ceiling with him. But like I get it too, but that's how we thought about Baker Mayfield heading into this year too. How many times last week or last year did Rashad White and Mike Evans or Chris Godwin get there with no Baker and he was scoring 20, 20, 20 and now all of a sudden he's dropping 30 burgers. Like I think the matchup is really what could facilitate that for them here. So yeah, I don't know if I will get there, but I certainly see the vision. Let's do some running back scrolls real quick. I think we kind of hit on a few. Obviously, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason are kind of the Q tag ones, but it is pretty deep. I would say some guys who were going a lot higher in previous weeks. Nez, yeah, let's start it right about where Nez said with Brian Robinson. I think after that is where you're getting kind of sub 30%. Who stands out to you guys here?
Well, Aaron Jones' projection is crazy. I say crazy because like I don't fully agree with it. I love the Vikings, right? I think the Vikings are a really good team. I think they're clearly one of the best teams of football. There's a few things that just like has me like, man, is Aaron Jones really like a top 4 running back on this slate? One, obviously the matchup. Everybody knows Detroit is not a great matchup against running backs against the ground. Aaron Jones does have a really nice role, but I do worry about that matchup with Aaron Jones, with the Lions there. And two, like he had the hip, now he's got the hamstring, and then they traded for Cam Akers, and they love Cam Akers. They've said a lot of really nice things about Cam Akers. So like I'm like a little worried about this Aaron Jones play, but he goes so cheap in Dawg Bowl still that like I just gotta like lean into the projection and just kind of hope that Leone knows more ball than me there. John had me really in on Jordan Mason. John kept talking about Jordan Mason in our shows earlier in the week. And I think it makes sense, right? This total is higher than I expected it to be, which I think means that it has the chance to actually exceed that total and be even higher than I even thought after that. So if that is the case, where this is actually a game of two offenses like being effective and not just actually two really good defenses imposing their will, then I think you have to like Jordan Mason, right? This was the 101 2 weeks ago. Now he's completely undrafted in 6-person drafts. If the Niners at home, if they are going to have success, I think Jordan Mason is a part of it. And it's a pain tolerance thing, and he's been limited in practice. I think it's looking pretty positive for Jordan Mason to resume the usual role that he's had.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing about the Jordan Mason stuff is like the matchup is like undoubtedly like bad in quotations. Like the Chiefs have been good against the ground, right? Like they have been good against the ground, but it's like the price point in which you're getting a former 101 if he returns to like 18 touches is insane. It's like we're taking a running back 101 right now, or in the top 2 picks right now. We're taking a running back who's averaging less than 4 yards per carry and doesn't have a run over 10 yards this season in Kyron Williams. And we can get Jordan Mason in the 4th round. I don't know, like just do that. Like I don't give a shit about like matchup agnostic, right?
I mean, if there's one thing that we see over and over, both the 6-person and the 12-person that has succeeded as far as being kind of like a somewhat contrarian thing, it is just chasing really good workloads late in drafts when the field is scared of the matchup. Right. Yeah. And then we're getting a double whammy with both of these. Because what's the other one? It's guys coming off of injuries, guys with Q tags. So now we're getting the double whammy of Q tag plus matchup concerns with both Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. It's giving everyone like max, like uncomfortable feelings right now. And I get it. Like I feel those. I think I'm more worried about like the matchups than I am even there. I guess with Mason, I'm more worried about the injury. Jones more worried about the matchup. But like I kind of just want to continue memory wiping myself of those feelings.
And I think you're going to be a profitable player over time if you do that.
Yeah. Use the Men in Black memory erase tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don, do you have any like super scrolls for us past this Goldilocks zone?
I like the James Cook one just because what we saw before and his utilization in the pass catching role. I really like the James Cook one now, especially with like, I thought Ray Davis would like carve out a role for himself, but now they've kind of like flipped where it looks like Ray Davis might miss this week. So, Yeah, if we get no Ray Davis this week and you get James Cook in the tail end, I know another one where Titans are like a bad matchup because they have a good defensive front. I don't really care. Like that's fine by me. I've taken Chubb like a couple times. That's pure anecdotal and narrative based. Just all these articles coming out about him, put the city on his back. They trade away Amari Cooper. Then he comes out and gets 12 touches and somehow is as efficient as he once was with the over 5.6 yards per carry shit. But I mean, like, that's a fairy tale. But in the 6th round for your second running back in the 12th person, you can do worse.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford being out, I think, helps that narrative too, right? I mean, Foreman's still there, but no Ford. I think you can probably project Chubb for, I think, 12 to 15 touches, right? That feels right.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a good scroll, and it's like, I mean, they've waited. They've been very patient as far as bringing him back, right? Like, I don't know, like it doesn't seem like it makes sense to me to like bring him back to give him 6 touches.
I know.
I don't know. It's like I feel like you're ready or you're not. So I do think that's an interesting one. It does become tough of like how much of a better play is he than Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. When you compare him, but I do think he's on the menu.
James Cook, I think, John, you mentioned, and that's one that, like, God, I don't want to click that at all. But if Ray Davis is not in this game and it's James Cook and Ty Johnson in a 9-point favorite spot, you got to take James Cook. You just got to. I mean, James Cook like has been like one of my like tried and true moves on Underdog is James Cook like a 5-point favorite or greater. Okay, take James Cook because his role has always been really, really solid and positive game script. And if you remove Ray Davis from the equation, you add in, like, we just saw Ray Davis on an island slate, and everyone just like, and we also, the last time we had James Cook on a slate, he failed. I think a lot of that, is really keeping James Cook suppressed. He's a pretty good pick, man. And we talked about it too, John, earlier in the week. I think the Titans need to face a good offense, and then we can get an idea of how good they really are on defense, because they haven't really faced a whole lot of competition.
Let's hit some wide receivers
agreed.
Before we hop in draft here. We were kind of talking about that mid-range again, kind of being better this week. There's the Debo, there's the Reed dips, there's Deontay, there's the Cooper Kupp stuff. So like that mid-range is there, but let's try to push outside that comfort zone here. Let's say like Tank Dell and Post here. What is jumping out to you guys down here?
Yeah, wide receiver
in the 6th person.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm like on my end. I don't think I'm lagging at all, and I'm like I got full bars internet and shit like that. I don't know what's going on here, but I seem to be like off kilter with you guys.
Am I lagging?
I might leave
just a little.
You've been fine for me recently, John. So I don't know if it's
okay. The Devonta Smith is like the cheapest backdoor skinny stack you'll ever get with Hurts in the 6 persons. Like the Giants have had a propensity to double cover X wide receivers thus far this season. I don't know. It's narrative based and Smith's good and you're missing Dallas Goedert. Why don't you just do a 5-6 round skinny stack with him? It's not rocket science there.
Mm-hmm.
The JSN stuff with Lockett being out, I've done a bunch in the Dawg Bowl stuff. And then I don't love pairing Anthony Richardson as a skinny stack. I liked it more with the Flacco stuff the last couple of weeks there. I kind of like Anthony Richardson naked late, but if you need break glass in case of emergency, I think Pittman instead of Downs, I prefer this week.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I actually kind of really like, so the range, this Jordan Addison, JMO, Ayuk, JSN, and then Mooney. I like that pocket there. Obviously, I think all of those guys, maybe not Ayuk, Addison, Williams, JSN, and Mooney, like I want to play those through the game environments.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are spots I'm willing to do double stacks with the quarterback. You're going to get kind of a double whammy discount. You'll have 100% drafted guys say I'm on raw. But then if you're playing Goff in JMO, same thing with if you have Jefferson and you do Addison and Darnold, like once you're getting 2 pieces, which was something I kind of dove into on my video last week on the Deposit Kingdom of like how I think about double stacks is relative to how often the pieces are getting drafted. And I think a lot of guys in this range set up for really nice double stacks where both the quarterback and the secondary option aren't getting drafted a ton.
Yeah. Talk about that Atlanta and Seattle game. That's a perfect example, right? Where you can do Mooney or JSN with the wide receiver 1. Like you said, that is a really strong example. I've been trying to, I have to like force myself to get down to this range, but I do like this range. Don't get me wrong. I do, but like, man, it really does feel like you're giving up. Like it feels bad. I'm not going to lie. It does not feel good to take these guys as your wide receiver 2 in the 6-person draft because of how deep and how projectable the guys that go ahead of them are. But I think if you're doing it, you need to do it, like you said, lean into the game environments for this. Like if I take Jameson Williams, this either needs to be where I have a Viking on that team, or I have Laporta or Amon-Ra, and it's Goff. Like that is, I think, the only way that I can get to these guys is like I need to tell a story with this and get more pieces of that game environment. As one-offs, it does not feel clean, and it just doesn't feel worth it. But man, you need to. I can't quite figure out exactly how much of these guys that I want in my portfolio because I don't want to be sacrificing too much. I need a dub, just straight up. Like I need to start. I need to start aiming for the cash line a little bit more, guys. I still have confidence in myself. It's just, there's too many numbers out there that are letting people know that like I'm not having the best BR season just yet. So
you're treating your portfolio like Mike Tomlin treats his quarterback room right now.
Come on.
No, I will say I'll give it, and it's easy for me to say because I'm having a good start to my season, but don't change up your process, Nez, because I do think that's when you get in trouble. That's what's happened to me in salary cap DFS, where I'm just like a plastic bag floating in the wind, trying to chase what happened the previous week, being like, oh, all the chalk hit or has been hitting fine. I'm going to stop being contrarian. And it's like, you have a good process. You have a proven process. I would stick to what you're doing right now and not change your play style because of a downswing.
Yeah. Thank you. It's the volume. The volume hasn't changed. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I would say like you could change your volume. That I think is actually fine. I'm just saying don't change how you approach, winning these contests.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Nez, are we going to get a no? Oh, go ahead.
We are. By the way,
no strip stream. Okay.
Yeah. Dawg Bowl stream tonight. Same time as always, 10:00 Eastern.
All right, John, what do you got? Just with this group here, I think Jordan Addison in the 6-persons, just like in particular, not as a one-off, but with Sam Darnold is like 5th and 6th round leverage off of the fact that like Darnold's not 100% drafted. Darnold's always drafted with JJ. Like just do it with Addison, do it with Hawk a couple times, and you'll instantly have a different path.
Yeah, really good shout.
I was thinking about that today, and because I do think the double stack is obviously very viable, but I want to mix and match that. And I want to mix and match it with Aaron Jones personally. I know people's mileage may vary there, but when you're getting Jones, Addison, and Darnold in the best game environment of the week that aren't all drafted in the same contest, I want to mix and match those guys with Jefferson and each other as much as I can.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah. I think he's probably my favorite scroll here. Is Addison in this game environment. We talked about how the pass rate over expectation for the Vikings is one of the best in the league. They just don't get the chance to do it because they're always kicking ass. This is one of the best spots for them to have to compete and need to go blow for blow with the opposing team here in the Lions. If that's the case, wheels up for Addison. The ADOT has been crazy. The volume just has not been there. And if the volume gets there, I mean, God, man, he's like a long touchdown waiting to happen. And that can easily match that JJ score. And just like you said, awesome leverage because Darnold in the BRs right now, I would almost guarantee he's tied to Jefferson like 98%, maybe 99%.
Yes.
You know what you just described with all those exact same words and all those exact same percentages.
What did I just mansplain?
It's a way to get to Xavier Worthy with Mahomes as well.
This kind of all comes back to one of the points Nez made at the top of the show, and I think for me it's kind of an evergreen comment for BRs, and it's magnified when the slate's really good and deep, of like going in with some intention into specific drafts. I do it in batches of drafts. Like, this is an angle I want to attack. Obviously, I want to remain fluid at the top. If there's an insane, ADP faller, that's actually something I talk about in the video that'll drop later today. But it helps because every play is going to look better than the one you're trying to get into your portfolio. So like say the Addison Darnold one, right? Like, oh, Jalen Hurts is now sitting here in the 6th. It's like, yeah, you prefer that, like, straight up. But like, do you want to do that over and over and over again? So I don't know. That's something that works for me, is just knowing like, no, I'm going to go in with this plan to make sure I get it in my portfolio, even if it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. So it's one of the toughest dynamics of battle royales, is like building your portfolio and ignoring the ADP staring you in the face.
All right. The Deposit Kingdom contest is live for week 7 here. Shout out to Lava Lord, who took down the week 6 edition with a very nice lineup there. I reviewed that in the portfolio review and in the Deposit Kingdom video that'll come out later today. But yeah, you want to hop us in one of these, John, and we can maybe talk through some smaller field strategy, maybe some like game environments or double stacks you guys like leaning into in these smaller contests.
Yeah. But like we said, it's really interesting and really, I think, difficult to project ownership, especially at quarterback, because you have like 3 rushing quarterbacks at the top of ADP, like at their position, right? With Daniels, Hurts, and Allen. And then after that, it's all pocket passers who most people are stacking up. So like it all varies. And I think, I guess another way to like make that a little more unique is the double stack, and especially in small fields. I was on record of like being a little worried about this Houston Packers game here, Texans Packers, just because I think both these defenses are underrated. I think you just need to embrace these 2 quarterbacks being awesome and fun, and double stacking either the Packers side of it or the Texans side of it. Texans side, you have, I think, a really clean way to do that. Obviously with the Packers, it's way more murky, way more difficult, because we have Wicks now as a limited participant in practice. We thought he was week to week. That's a lie. So I think Stroud is one of my favorite ways to double stack it.
Ooh.
I'm with you. I'm on the Stroud doubles this week.
I'm gonna be bust though.
No way, John. You always find a way.
We'll see. I got to start mixing them. I was basically completely off that game. I think this is a very interesting and pivotal pick on the draft board, guys. At 4 here, what are you guys doing?
I've been taking Amon-Ra at 4, but I think all 3 of these guys are good picks.
They are. And I've been doing Amon-Ra.
JM got me more hyped on AJ Brown
it is truly,
than I was heading into it.
Sorry, John, I think you're a little bit delayed.
Yeah, truly. I'm going to have to leave and come back here. Try some, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'll do it after this draft.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because I'm screen sharing the draft, so I'll wait till the end of the draft here. I don't know what's up. It's truly me or you guys this week. Like, that's my first Amon-Ra share.
Wow.
So you don't. What's your bear case for Amon-Ra?
I just think both those defenses are good, and I think that game could be gross sloppy divisional game compared to how some of these other games project for me.
Yeah. I don't hate that take. So you're no Jaden Daniels here? Okay, no. Go ahead, Pete.
No, I'm definitely good with Neighbors here. He seems like a big prize. And I don't know about for you guys. I feel like I'm willing to take Daniels there. I don't think he's a bad pick in a vacuum, but I've just noticed in my drafts, I can get him sliding 2 to 3 picks past. So I've kind of stopped taking him at ADP because the frequency that I get him at 9 or 10 is fairly high.
Mm-hmm. He's looking like John's about to say something, and then he's like a couple seconds delayed, and then there goes Terry. So it's like that's like an interesting.
Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. We'll fix this stuff after.
That's a very interesting dynamic. I actually think Naked Terry is okay because is there. I think there is a world where this game plays out where like Daniels doesn't have to run as much because he is able to connect with Terry McLaurin through the air. And I love Brian Robinson so much in this game that it could be like a big time Brian Robinson game as well. But that is a very interesting way to kind of play it by taking Terry first and then getting Jaden Daniels. I haven't seen that yet. I think he's going to do that right here. That's
that
very
worked out
interesting.
well. It's like the dilemma we were always in BBM, right? Which is funny in hindsight is do you take Lamar first or Andrews first if you're trying to lock up that stack?
Rip.
Definitely on board with Kittle, John.
It's like Interstellar, you know. He's on video. And
yes. Do you want to do Pictionary for who we want to take with each of these?
I've got pens galore over here. I do a lot of handwritten work when it comes to my player takes. No, I like Kittle. I'm very much like camp top 3 tight ends this week, and that 3rd round pick for me in the 6-person drafts is almost always one of Kittle, Bowers, or Kelsey this week. And Bowers is my favorite by far, but I'm not trying to like full fade Kelsey or Kittle either. But I think based on how deep the player pool is why I'm so into it, because like I don't think I'm sacrificing a lot by getting one of those 3 and trying to hit a ceiling and just having flex plays galore behind them.
Yeah. All right, we're about to be back on the clock.
You guys want to know what I would do here?
Yes. Are you talking about 3rd round pick or this pick?
I would go Tyreek, Achane, Anthony Richardson.
Love it.
Let's go.
Do it.
I did that in a Dawg Bowl. And I think I paired it with Downs and Richardson with those Miami pieces. If there was ever a game, we kind of called this the put up or shut up game for Mike McDaniels, right? All these other coaches, LaFleur did it with Malik Willis. All these other coaches, you know, in their hamstring situations have made do, except McDaniels. McDaniels is the only one that hasn't been able to put up a good game with a backup QB against the Colts, who I've been on record as saying they're overhated. But this is, regardless, at least for the run game, this is like the spot for the Dolphins to have a good game without Tua. It would be pathetic if it didn't come to fruition here.
Yeah. And I think the price is right. I think for the risk you're taking on. And I do think Achane and Reek are really positively correlated in you don't get a meltdown Huntley game. And if you can just get average, slightly above average, and then you let them cook against a bad team. So I do like that. I tried to do it today in one of my 2 Dawg Bowls, and I got Tyreek, and then Achane almost made it back to me, and I still did Anthony Richardson on that, but I like that angle.
Yeah, the Colts side of that game is really interesting to me, I think, too, because the Miami defense is so bad against the run, but like I don't know how they fare against rushing quarterbacks specifically, but that made me think that like Sermon was an okay play.
Yeah,
with obviously JT out.
Yeah, and I was looking at the O-line D-line mismatches, and they have the Colts as the biggest O-line advantage there too, which I was kind of like, man, I wish Sermon was a little bit better. I've seen a little hype for Goodson too.
Yeah.
Which he seems to have a little bit more juice, but more of I think you get excited about him in PPR versus I think you want to hunt the touchdowns with Sermon.
Yeah, it'd be so nice if we got some good QB speak on or coach speak on Sermon where it's like, hey, he's looked good. We got to give him more touches because I mean, Sermon obviously is like touchdown or bust, but it seems quite likely that we're getting a touchdown from him. But
yeah.
So here becomes
all right, John.
a very interesting conversation. Do you take naked Josh Allen when he falls to the 6th here, or do you stick with Anthony Richardson?
Wow.
On this is why you small field, I want my story to hit. So I'm taking A-Rich on this.
That is crazy. I get it, but like falling all the way back to EDM.
No, I think it's the norm right now, man. It's the norm right now, and it's what makes Jaden Daniels such a bad pick in the 6-persons, in my opinion. Like I can't get on board with it.
Yeah, I get it. All right, John, do you want to try to reset here for a sec?
Mhm. Yeah, I'll be back.
All right. We're gonna let John reboot here. Yeah, I do think Nez, like I really because there's a lot of double stacks I don't even mind in the big BR. I think it's a pretty nice double stack week in the 6 persons. I mean, I kind of always do, but to get like really good stacks at low ownership as well, I think it sets up well. Are there any others you like? I assume you're doing a lot of Geno doubles and in Cousins doubles.
That's been like a really strong focal point for me in these drafts. I think one of my I started off doing a lot of Saquon against the Giants. I'm like wavering back and forth on like whether or not that game's going to absolutely dud or not. And I mean, for me, I am a little worried about like because so at first I was doing that because Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence were like missing practice for the Giants. They're back. They're expected to play against the Eagles. So I'm how can you like IKB yourself off of the Saquon revenge game, right? It just like I just don't think that that's good process. So I keep trying to like ignore that little voice in my head that's telling me that like Saquon and AJ Brown in this spot are actually like not as good. But yeah, I'm with you where I've been doing a lot of like Amon Ra too, and getting Amon Ra paired with JMO or Laporta for the Goff doubles is just like really easy to do and feels really good. The most interesting story on this slate as far as ADP goes is like Ken Walker opened up at ADP 20. And I mean this just continues to happen where like Ken Walker continues to open up on slates like way underpriced. We were hyping him up so hard. We had Dave on the winner circle, and he also, he's like, yeah, I work for ETR, and by the way, I love Ken Walker, so like just rocket ship for Ken Walker after that. Yeah, I thought he was going to rise a little bit more, to be honest. In Dawg Bowls, you'll see him go like pick 5.
But and that's one I have to take an L on because not Kenneth Walker specifically, but it'll happen maybe once every 3 slates where the early week CLV becomes meaningful in getting Kenneth Walker on teams where let's say you have Justin Jefferson and Malik Neighbors, and then you also get Kenneth Walker. Like you can't get those 3 now. And that's where I'll get my occasional FOMO because I just backweight all my drafts. Normally you don't get kind of burned from those spots, but there are going to be some really good Kenneth Walker teams this week.
There are. I mean, even in Dawg Bowls, like, do you think it's possible at this point until Sunday to get a Ken Walker, like Drake London team?
Wow. In Dawg Bowls? You would know way better than me. I've only done a couple. It seems like that would be impossible though.
Yeah, and that exists quite a bit from earlier in the week. So that's something I'm like trying to come to grips with. It's, I would love that combo.
All right, so here you go. Here's your leverage angle. If that's true, Nez, you do your Kenneth Walker with Darnell Mooney's, because how do you make those Drake London Kenneth Walker teams fail?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe a little Pitts in there too. John, we back?
No, I don't really know. I think it's because with this new StreamYard one, Pete's done like the local recording thing, so it sets up to like record on our end as well. Like so it has the more premium video at upload. And I think the SDSS that it's like trying to record my localized video on is like too small. Like I got to like delete a bunch of shit or something. I think it has nothing to do with internet. I think it's literally just the hard drive that StreamYard, whatever.
Your timing seemed better, at least for the answer to the question. So I think you might be good.
All right. I can look at you going forward. Yeah, let us know in the chat if we sound good or if there are issues that make things not work. John, we were just talking about some of the double stack spots we like. Anything else for you on small field strategy here?
I think it's going to be less of a double stack week for me in general, outside of like the Walker Geno stuff and outside of a little bit of the Atlanta stuff. I think I'm going to be contrarian through the scrolling this week. Obviously, we just did the Achane Tyreek stuff. That's one that I'm kind of going back to the well on. But yeah, I'm not going to be doing like Burrow doubles this week. I'm not going to be doing No, I'm a little bit off the double stuff this week, just given how deep the flex pool is.
All right, guys. The Deposit Kingdom contest has been filling. I want to say now that we made it a little bigger, it lasted till like Saturday afternoon, early evening, if I recall correctly. But make sure you get your 3 entries in that contest over the weekend. And like I said, I will review those on both the portfolio review and the Deposit Kingdom video that drops every Friday. You guys want to hop in a Dawg Bowl and talk some 12-person here?
Yeah,
Let's get it. Ooh.
Let's see. One, do you guys getting in? Oh,
I missed it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Whoa, snap! Are you in the overflow?
I got location serviced to death.
If you guys want to do a run too, I'll do one here where we can both get on stream. John, can you get in?
I'm in.
Nez, are you in this overflow? Okay.
Yeah. We're both double dipping because I got in the overflow and now I'm in the stream.
Okay. Well, we'll keep you posted on both, but it's always funner when all 3 of us are in here.
Yeah,
but snap filling Dawg Bowls here is always a good time.
It's really what it's felt like all week. The fill rate at the beginning of the week was like insane. Oh, okay. There's John. I was
Look at this row here.
There we go.
Roto 1-7, Nez 1-8, Pete 1-9.
Here we go.
Yeah, the Dawg Bowls are so much fun because they're just like they're so different from the main BRs. People really like stick to projection in the Dawg Bowl, so you kind of know, or like depending on who you're in the room with, kind of have an idea of who they're gonna like and who they're gonna take. So it just a big fan of those dynamics.
Nez, you said you did you're doing a lot of the Seattle Atlanta stuff. Have you done any Tyler Algier in the last round of the Dawg Bowl?
No.
Yeah,
that's a bridge too far. Whenever I'm left at running back in the last round in Dawg Bowls, a lot of the time I've been doing Chase Brown. He's been there, and I've really liked the Chase Brown click. But a lot of that is like a lot of hopium that hey, that fumble that Zach Moss had is actually going to lead to more touches for Chase Brown, but he's looked a little bit better, you know? So, and my big thing this season has been running backs against the Browns, just based on like pure game script. It's been the easiest like game script to like project. It's like, oh yeah, the Browns are going to be ass. And thus, the other team's going to be able to run the ball in good field position all the time. So that's been one of my go-tos. Okay, Sam Duel.
Yeah, Sam Duel taking that. He's got the inverse vibes as you right now, Nez, where you're like, I got to go back to the drawing board on my process here.
Yep.
He's like, damn, I got 15K in the count from last week. Here we go, AJ Brown, suck it, team. Boom.
That's kind of a fun pick there.
That's a flex job. I respect it. I mean, Hurts falls back to that side of the board like a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite a bit. So I think it's a very clean stack to do that. And like AJ Brown is like the king of like F your projection, F your matchup. Like I'm gonna go ham and put up 20.
Yeah. And the nice thing about the Brown stuff too is like, I mean, we were kind of talking about that before, Nez, with that game. Like to me, I just want to like one off those guys, one off AJ, one off Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the neighbors dime stuff, but just like those 3 alphas and just knowing that they can kind of all get there even in a so-so game script, and then trying not to like play that game as a shootout, because that still seems a little harder for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah, I agree. You are up, by the way.
Oh, I am on the clock. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was screen sharing.
We're gonna go ahead and grab
chat. Said he's multi-tabling 10 double dribbles, and then he jumped in this Dawg Bowl.
What an absolute G.
That's sick.
See, I'm doing 2 in streaming, and I almost got autoed Jaden Daniels there at 9.
Yeah, keep us updated on what's going on in those other 2 drafts, because I'm curious. A lot of these boards have been breaking like the exact same.
Really?
Yeah, the 12s look very similar. Normally the 6s look similar over the course of the week. The 12s to me have been looking quite similar.
I would agree. It's a lot of the familiar faces going around the same pick, but those wide receiver 2s in that Seattle ATL game typically are there in the 5th round, which has been a very comfy click for your boy.
I'm gonna go ahead and grab. We'll go with Kelsey here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, John. Grabbing Kittle. I need one of those three.
That is okay, my friend.
Ooh.
Going in.
Kittle's the most volatile of those three, right? In your guys' minds?
For sure.
Yeah.
Kittle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think he has like the highest ceiling and then probably the lowest floor. I guess it's hard to say with how many targets like Bowers and Kelsey are getting to say that their ceilings aren't there, but
the Bowers splits in zone versus man coverage are insane. Like Bowers slaps, but that was with a different quarterback too. So we'll see.
What's the coverage he has this week?
Zone.
Okay.
And is that the good one?
That's the good side of the equation. Yeah.
Let's simplify it, not only for the audience, but for ourselves. Is that a good one, John?
give me 1 or 0 for Bowers. I love it. Spoiler alert, he's gonna be my core play of the week for us. So hopefully you guys can vibe with that. Yeah, very much into that.
Dude, speaking of the core, if you guys aren't membies, just sign up already. It's cheaper than the Battle Royale. Core smashed again last night on our show. And then, man, we had a great sweat there with the ship chasing crew for both the core and the extended core. Melee, man.
So, yeah, we had 3K in pickups that were wiped out there from Melee on 2 different penalties.
Yeah, 2 different penalties and a drop earlier in the game, I believe. So he could have got there 3 separate occasions for us. Dang.
I don't know if it's just like the fantasy freak in me, but I thought that game was actually like pretty fun.
Last night?
Yeah.
I
like the way Bonix plays. I like the way Bonix plays football, man. Reckless abandon is just the best way I can describe the way that dude lives on the football.
He's literally Taysom Hill at the quarterback position.
Yeah, he's very much Taysom Hill like, right?
He's probably got a better arm and better understanding of offenses and stuff, but he's literally Taysom Hill-esque.
Yeah, I think it's very true. Which makes sense that he's with Sean Payton, right?
Yeah.
All right, we have our murderers row here. John on the clock, having done Bijan and Cooper Kupp. We got Nez with Walker and Kittle, and I got Neighbors and Kelsey.
Did Tyreek already go? Yeah, he did. Sad day. All right, let's take some Aaron Jones stuff.
Okay. One thing I find myself doing a lot whenever I get Kittle is like pairing Ayuk and then just giving myself an easy double. But like, I definitely worry about Ayuk. He's probably one of my favorite haterade picks as far as like pick'ems go. But I love Brian Robinson this week, so just gonna go ahead and lock up my second RB.
I was gonna take him if you didn't. Let's see here. What do we want to do? Feels like a running back pick for me here. I am not going to end up with much Jacobs in the 6-mans at all. I'm going to grab a Jacob share here.
It's tough, man. A lot of those guys just like look like the same to me.
I know.
They all look this. That's what's so. It makes it really difficult. It makes it really difficult to like. I found it hard in the pick'ems. I was doing my homework before the show, and I'm like trying to find a pick'em, and it's like I don't like. It was much easier to kind of tell a story in weeks past. All the spreads are tight. It makes sense.
Yeah. I think there's a starker drop off in the 12s at the wide receiver position than the running back position. So like doing some of these 3 wide receiver earlies like AMAC did from the front end, or doing what like Sam Duel did there where he sets up the double stack and then now he's just leaving himself outs at the running back position. You seldomly see yourself get like scooped at the running back position in the 12s.
Yeah. I think it makes sense too. I mean, just because there's so many tight games, there's a lot of different directions this can go. We know running back scoring is very, dictated upon game script. So
look at this board. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. You have to
really
just like
is.
block it out.
Yeah.
Who,
I'm gonna grab
sorry,
a
go ahead.
JSN here.
Fuck. He's literally the only guy in my queue right now off the
That's it?
Bichon stuff. That was the
That's
only
it?
player. I was like, oh, these guys won't take JSN. Back to the
Time for
drawing
your
board.
Whittington, Cooper Cup, Matthew Stafford double.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is tough because like Ayuk, I think, is like the best projection on the board. We're gonna go. I wanted to do something like absolutely nutty, but I'm gonna go JMO. I almost did something like way too crazy and set up an AR double. I almost set up.
Okay. That is the thing in these drafts, right? Where it's like you do like you start to think in the fourth round, like, do I just want to pull someone up to get the double stack, right? Where the fourth round pick is the one that feels bad, and then your fifth and sixth, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
But
the fourth is where like you actually have some feelings tied to it. Like you feel like you should do something, but don't 100%. The AR double is tied to the fact that Miami's defense, I don't think, is like that good. And Pittman potentially not playing in this game. I don't think he practiced today. I'm pretty sure was the official listing for him. And Alec Pierce, man, is just like the best wide receiver of all time. And Downs really emerging. I think it's kind of fun, but I didn't do it here. Maybe I'll do it tonight.
Did we get Pittman no practice today?
Pretty sure.
Ooh.
I missed that.
Yeah, likewise. I hadn't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I'll fact check that for you.
Oh, either way, he's been like questionable all week, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me double check because he went from DNP to full, but I swear I saw that he was missing today.
What do you guys think about the potential worthy role expansion if Juju misses? Is there any?
Say that one more time. Sorry, Pittman's going to play.
Again.
I apologize.
You guys are in 2 drafts. It wasn't me lagging that time. The potential worthy expansion to his role if Juju misses.
Well, I don't. So there was an Andy Reid quote. I read it on Block Party. It sounds like he's good to go and that they listed him as questionable as a precautionary. But I still was thinking about that angle, right? Coming off the bye, you had the 1 week where it's like, hey, we just lost our wide receiver. We're still figuring out our game plan. Like, I don't know, the rookie bump for a team who's in desperate need of playmakers, that I can buy that narrative. So what is his draft rate in the 12 persons?
He's almost every time now.
Okay.
Worthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier in the week, he was like flirting in that 6th round and stuff like that. Now I think it's become like an easy backstack for people. And as you guys could see, like these rooms with all the badges and stuff, like all the quarterbacks fall. So
yeah, John, you mentioned not like loving Amon-Ra because of the game environment. I think you can really paint a picture for quite a few of these exciting games that they don't get home despite everything kind of lining up as far as totals go. I think for Amon-Ra it makes a lot of sense because what if the Vikings just shut shit down there like they have like for most of the season against opposing offenses. But I think in Ben Johnson, we trust as far as like fantasy players go and just leaning into that. But I don't think that it's like a bad like what if at all. Like I'm totally with you on that. And then KC San Fran, that has a 47.5 total. That to me seems very fragile. I originally thought that was like a little too high, but it is what it is. And if it's 47.5, it could go higher. So I need to, I need exposure to that game at the same time.
I think it's
all right, Nez, your OTC.
Yeah. I'm thinking here.
I think it's because like last night, for instance, like we had a pretty clear picture of like how the Broncos would beat the Saints, right? And we talked about it on the show extensively. You were very bullish on the Hall over Kamara stuff because of the way those games set up, and you were bullish on the Williams stuff because it was like the way they win this game is via the ground, right? I think a lot of the stuff that we're looking at from a matchup standpoint for these high total games is the inverse, and it's the assumption of rational coaching, right? So it's like, what has Detroit been like so good at? Well, Detroit's been so good on the ground this year. David Montgomery scored a touchdown in 8 straight games. They've pounded teams on the ground. That's what they did last week against the Cowboys, right? But what are we going to do this week when that ground matchup doesn't set up and we have to trust in the fact that this game has to shoot out and they have to play it through the air, right? And like that's a lot of trust to put in. Like we think Ben Johnson's sharp, but like yeah. So I think like the matchups for what teams want to do, like you're like, oh, San Fran, they want to run at home. They have a really good run scheme. Oh, that's a bad matchup against the Chiefs, right? So it's like these totals are high, but like what we see on paper is not what we want to see in correspondence with a high total. That's what makes the clicks harder.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think with the Lions and Vikings specifically, it's 51.5 total. So, I keep talking about this game bearishly, like, oh, it's not going to shoot out. But like, I think it starts with the Vikings for sure. And the Lions, you beat the Lions through the air. The Vikings have been like waiting for the prime opportunity to just unleash the passing attack. So it seems pretty bullish that at least they're going to do their part. It's just like, can the Lions do theirs? That is like the big question here. I know I'm on the clock here. This is going to have to be it's going to be let's do Cousins. Actually, I switched it up last minute. We're going Cousins. Sorry if you have Drake London. No, we're good.
No, I was going to do Nez. So if you didn't take Mooney, I was going to take him and then just see, because Cutler behind me had London and Metcalf. And then I was like, I'll let him pick one of Geno or Cousins, and then I'll take the sloppy seconds. And then you took Moody. And so then I was scrambling and decided to do the vomit Danny Dimes double stack.
I kind of saw you fidget a little bit whenever I took Mooney. I felt a little bad, but I like I like the vomit double though. I think you pivoted pretty well.
PPR scam.
Half PPR scam is what he's going to be this week.
I like it though. I really do. Johnny went worthy there.
Yeah, went worthy and then went with the Rams double that I didn't have yet.
There you go. All right, so the squads here. John has the Matthew Stafford double with Kupp and Colby Parkinson. His 2 running backs, Bijan and Aaron Jones. Xavier Worthy, one-off. Nez, what's your squad here?
Yeah, went with the Ken Walker RB1, Brian Robinson RB2, Kirk Cousins to Darnell Mooney, Skinny, George Kittle at tight end, and JMO one-off 2 bombs, por favor.
Beautiful.
What you got?
And I had the aforementioned Daniel Jones double stack with Neighbors and Wandell, and then grabbed Kelsey, Josh Jacobs, and JSN there in the middle. All right, guys, is it time to
spice it up?
Spice it up. Let's do it.
You already know.
All right. So last week, did we remember our haterade last week, or did we forget, or was it 2 weeks ago we forgot?
2 weeks ago we forgot. Yes. We did it last week. But I don't think it hit. It was near misses, I believe, was the story of the week last week, but it was close.
So let's start with the core. Nez, you already kind of teased a little Bowers. Do you want to give us that one there?
I'd like to do Bowers. Yeah, I don't think we have passing volume for him, but I think the passing volume is absolutely going to be there. Oh, we do. We did get it, but we'll go receiving yards for no Doc there.
Yeah.
Very much into Bowers without Devontae Adams. The role is just insanely solid. I think Aiden O'Connell is a little underrated as far as a passer goes. You look at his logs, and he's held his own in last year, and he held his own against the Steelers, got over 200 yards. And Bowers is going to have to be a huge part of their game plan. And the Rams are really bad on defense; they are really bad. So I think they're going to be able to get work to Bowers, and I think he's going to have success because he's a grown ass man. So very much into Brock Bowers receiving yardage here.
Love it. John, do you have someone that you'd like to put for your core conviction play here?
I'm just looking right now and my shit's just spinning like an idiot. Why don't you go first, Pete? I have one that I'm looking at, but I think they changed the X on us. I liked the Chuba receptions at 3.5, but now they've docked it to 0.89. So now I'm kind of like pivoting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, I mean, 4-4-5 the past 3 weeks, negative game script against the Commanders. John, I think we can handle a little doc if we need.
Okay, let me see if I like anything else while you pick yours, and then we'll go from there.
So I'm gonna steal one that like JM just gave me right off the dome. Well, I went and looked it up, but he was saying that he thinks this is going to be a big week for Brock Purdy rushing, just based on how the Chiefs defend, and that he thinks it's going to lead to more scrambles for Purdy. And his line is already pretty low at 15.5. He cleared this the past 2 weeks, 33-19. And then JM said he loves this spot said it's going to be Brock Purdy's biggest rushing yard game of the year. So I was like, I like that. Let's ride Brock Purdy rushing yards here.
That's part of the alpha that I'm missing in my game is like, I have like the rushing efficiency at my disposal as far as like defensive matchups go. I don't have that like in my back pocket to like know what teams are good or bad against rushing QBs. So shout out JM for that. I'm riding all the way with that.
Yeah, I'm just going to steal the layup. I do have like, man, and I think Nez, you mentioned this when I showed you when I was making my video for the gems, and I had like scripted it Thursday afternoon and then went to actually place them, and the lines had moved by like 20 yards on some of my guys. So a lot of my favorites, I feel like there's not as much value right now. So let's just get the winners in here, John.
Yeah.
I think that was the Sam Darnold one, was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just look here, John, at your multiplier, just so people know, because if you like this. So normally a 6x on 3, so a 5.34. So well, I'm not betting 225. No, I don't think it's we dish out winners. If this is the winner here, John, let's lock it in.
Yeah, I was looking at doesn't matter now. Yeah, I like the Chuba one.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like the doc on him scoring a touchdown is similar to him getting 4 receptions, like the same thing. So I'll take the receptions and not try to bank that. All right, let's lock this in as the core picks here. Feel good about these. Brock Bowers higher 61.5 receiving yards. Brock Purdy higher 15.5 rushing yards, and Chuba Hubbard higher 3.5 receptions. I'll drop this in the private chat. The chats. And these guys will put it in their comments and all of that good stuff. I've also been rounding these up in my newsletter as well, if you're trying to play along at home. All right, should we build a game stack here, fellas?
Yeah, I mean, the slate is our oyster here, guys. There is no shortage of sexy game environments. I mean, I know I've been talking up Seattle and Atlanta like all week, but if you guys have another one that you'd like to do instead, we can totally pivot.
I mean, Seattle, Atlanta, Atlanta has treated us well. We hit with the Falcons or the Saints game with them a couple weeks ago. John, do you have any other game environments you'd like to explore?
I think that is the safest. I called my slop it up fest of the week that Miami and the Colts game, and was going to play some stuff there, but I think that one might be better served for some spice. And then we do the kind of safer of the 2 game environments as our full onslaught one. So I'm in lockstep with the Atlanta one.
Can I start us off?
Yes, I was just going to go there.
Oh, thank you. I think we start off with Geno pass attempts. We kind of talked about how, or at least I talked about, I think that this game requires the Seahawks to do their part. And part of that is, keeping the volume up. I mean, look at these numbers for Geno here.
Insane.
52, 40, and 56. I mean, just run to the lobby
56
for this one. That's crazy, man. And I don't see how this doesn't happen again.
The only way it doesn't happen, just to throw cold water for half a second, is those are all trailing scripts and trailing scripts by a decent margin. The only way it doesn't is if Ken Walker is so efficient on the ground early in the game that they don't have to play this style of football. And Atlanta has been low-key bad against the ground, hence why Ken Walker's projecting so well for so many sites. That being said, I mean, number 1 in pass rate over expectation versus number 3, if they keep playing like some dome ball, it's going to drag everything along with it. So it's a good starting point.
Yeah. So if we're doing Geno Smith receptions, we definitely want to play the pass catchers here. I definitely like this matchup for JSN a lot. JM actually had a note about how the Falcons have actually been pretty good at limiting deep plays over 20 yards or more, but that they give up a lot underneath. So stuff with JSN and Noah Fant is kind of interesting to me here. But we are getting the dock on both JSN and Noah Fant receptions. Would you guys want to play one of those through yards?
I'd like to play the JSN through yards because that was going to be one of my core plays when we pivoted off the Chuba stuff. So I like it.
And then I'll put LaVisca in, and then we'll just end the show.
Anytime. What is that?
Roll it, baby.
Yeah. So that would take it right there up to 41x there. But LaVisca scoring is taking away passing attempts for Geno. So we're not doing that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I do. I like the Noah Fant stuff. So he saw a roll increase last week, 6 receptions, 63 yards. Again, the underneath stuff looks good. If no Tyler Lockett, I kind of like the Noah Fant stuff. And he still is like I know he had some lower receiving yard games, but I like having the yards after catch out. Are you guys good with 27.5 receiving yards here with Geno?
Yeah, I'm good with it. Just to note that I just looked up Lockett's back at practice today, so that was short-lived.
That is good to know.
But I'm still good with it because if we believe the perimeter stuff has been tough, and we think AJ Terrell can still play a little bit of ball there, that cooking with 2 underneath guys at lower numbers feels fine.
We are getting some negative docks here on the passing attempts with the receiving yards. So we might need to do kind of what we've done before and get a TD in here to get us back up into the closer what is going to force this game script that we need? Yeah. 1.1.
As opposed to the spicy margs, which is, I mean, they're not spicy enough. We asked for spicy margs. We need like McBride spice. We're getting 2022 Kyle Pitts spice here. 1.4x is just not enough, but London 1.1x I think satisfies the palate for me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I guess the question is at 1.1, is it just you just play it through receiving yards or receptions instead? That would be the only kind of thought for me.
Mm-hmm. That's
because his targets have been insane.
Yeah, the roll is absurd, right?
Mm-hmm. And probably
what do
sorry, just probably no Reek Woolen again, probably. So just layering on the Seattle secondary still banged up.
Yeah. Or do we want, is the thought like if we're getting an absurd amount of Geno passing attempts, are the Falcons having some success on the ground? Like, do we want to do something with Bijan or Algier? Discount, baby.
Thank you.
Oops. I accidentally clicked it off. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm good with either, to be honest. I would be totally fine putting both in and being like Bijan touchdown and Drake London yardage or something like that, and then leaving Kirk out of it.
What do you guys think about Drake London receptions?
Yeah. I mean, his targets have been insane. He hasn't cleared that in 2 of the past 3 weeks, despite having 10 plus targets in those games. But
I know it's interesting, but the volume is there. Like, I feel like that's strictly like results based when we know that the targets are there. You can play it either way you want. I just, I prefer doing the like a usage play. But any way you do Drake London, I think is gonna hit. So
yeah. What do you? I don't mind the running back angles either.
Yeah, I'm cool with Bijan rushing.
Yeah. So
I mean,
I don't like to do the receiving because like he pass blocks a lot. But rushing, I think, is a smart angle.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put in a random pick here. So this
Just
gets
to
us up
test
to
it.
12.2. So I do think like I'll just look. Everyone don't freak out. I'm just going to look.
We're just testing the
1.4
waters.
1.4 gets you
us,
up to
gets us back to standard.
gets us back to 20.
Oh God.
The
I
other
mean-
way to play it would be to hop off JSN receiving yards. I know that was your favorite, but like play him through a touchdown, or maybe play DK.
Play DK through the touchdown.
Play
Yeah.
DK through the touchdown.
That's
Yeah.
a nice multiplier on Metcalf,
That gets
right?
us
He's
up to
due.
16-4. Yeah.
He's due.
I think that's smart.
Okay.
Because
So
we're
we'll
playing.
take JSN out and put DK through the touchdown and then take another Atlanta one, or just run it like this.
I think run it like this, right?
Okay.
Like Seattle's chucking. If Geno's clearing this, JSN clear their yards, DK binks the TD. And then this is basically like a classic little double stack. And the bring back is they're having to throw a lot because of the rushing on the other side.
Yep.
One thing I will throw out there is were we talking about pass volume for actually let's do receiving yards. We get docked because JSN got a receptions update to 5 even for a flat high or lower, but I think we get docked a little bit, so just receiving yards is fine.
Because what was it at 4.5 but a negative?
Like 0.86.
Okay. I think the 50 I don't mind this here. I mean, he's been hovering around this. All right. So this comes out to a 16.46 here. I'm going to lock this in. This is our Noah Fant inactive. Do I need to refresh?
Yeah, it was weird. It booted him out of my pick'em, and then I had to re-add him.
All right. Some interesting news updates here. Dallas Goedert officially ruled out. Trey Sermon not on the injury report. That feels a little better. All right, where is Fant?
Goodson looked better last week. I'm not gonna lie, but that kind of takes Goodson out of the Dawg Bowl consideration and kind of pulls Calcantara into Dawg Bowl consideration for the last round there. If you have like naked Hurts, or if you just need like a dart throw tight end.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't done it yet because I was worried we would get like a Dallas Goedert LP today, and like
yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely in consideration, and he's totally free. Maybe not more, but
I did it once before the show, but I did it on a Richardson team where I didn't care about correlation basically.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys want to get the haterade out of our veins before we spice it up?
I do.
5 Brandon Ayuk picks.
Is that the chalk? Is that the chalk lower? Is to go Ayuk yards? Is that? Do I need to get a little spicier than that?
Man, 64.5. That is a pretty big number for him in this matchup.
Is it not?
Yeah.
It's not even like a great spot, but like the projections continue to put him here. That's where like I instantly gravitated towards.
The haterade one I wanted to look at was Mixon.
I know it didn't seem like enough for me to hate on it, but
I just want to let the hate roll through me and then find how to apply that hate in the best way possible.
What's your favorite here? I think rushing. Good.
Yeah. I mean, it would be more on the rushing yards is where, because he's been fairly involved in the receiving game. I think probably maybe combine scrimmage yards and have a little extra here.
Yeah, I'd vote combined. A little leeway.
John, who do you want to hate on?
Both of them. That's a good question.
No, it's they just. What are they doing with Ayuk here?
John, it sounds like you want to hate on Amon-Ra. You want to ruin our haterade slip with an Amon-Ra lower?
That's actually a really good one. I actually wanted to hate on Laporta. Laporta was on my short list too.
Okay.
That's a good one.
10% target share.
Oh, I like this.
He's had one catch last week. Like, I don't know.
Do you play the longest reception or receiving yards? They're not going to draw up another trick play for him this week, are they?
Right. I'd go receiving yards.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys think.
They rugged us on Ayuk, by the way.
What happened? He's gone?
Numi?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Only receptions right now. I don't know if we're getting like practice reports rolling in for Ricky Pearsall or something, but yeah, they're gonna make us split it out.
Is awful.
Come on, guys. This is the premiere show. This is what
that Beastburf with the Pitts one in the chat. That's not crazy either.
But that's my favorite game.
I know. I don't want to have a negatively correlated haterade, right?
Wow, yeah. So they just nuked it and we just have receptions right now.
Classic
Man, that was too good of the hate.
Classic Numi.
What do you guys want to do? Game environment and look at Tony Pollard, who is like a projection darling this week, like almost a 10-point dog to the Bills in Buffalo. Like pick a lower, any lower.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
They also were one of the biggest O-line D-line mismatches as far as the Bills there. Levis has been atrocious.
Who else would they have active?
That's a good question.
Because it's just what Chestnut is the only other guy there.
Yeah.
Because we're not getting Spears. Like he's gonna be on the field like 80% of the time. So I wouldn't do like a rushing attempts lower, even though I don't think they're gonna be able to rush him that many times. But I think the combined scrimmage yards again just seems like totally fine.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do we have a lower on touchdowns? I mean, it's 8.7x. So that's.
You know who they got on the practice?
That's not bad.
The practice squad to break our hearts for the 70th time. Joshua Kelly.
Really?
Yeah. That's
interesting.
That's the only other running back I see listed anywhere associated with them if Spears can't go, which he can't go. Interesting.
All right. I did check to see if Ayuk came back. Do we want to, or do we feel good locking this in?
I like it.
And then people can do an expanded core with Ayuk if that ever comes back up.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the
haterade core.
Extra hateful.
What's that? Yeah, God.
There it is. There's the haterade. Just drop that in the chat. So for the audio listeners, Joe Mixon lower than 85.5 scrimmage yards. Sam Laporta lower than 43.5 receiving yards. Tony Pollard lower than 94.5 scrimmage yards. All right. Should we spice it up? Do a little a spice core, and then an expanded one here. Who's scoring a touchdown this week? Let me get an idea box going again.
Yeah, let me confirm my priors here by just checking what we're getting in terms of spice. Yeah, I like it again, guys. I know it failed us 2 weeks ago there, but he did come down with one in the end zone that was ruled back. Tyreek Hill at 144. I mean, we're talking Kyle Pitts level numbers right now, but we're getting Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. I'm good with that here.
I like the sell.
Getting some of these guys in here from that game. Mm-hmm. I feel like the tight ends in general seem, I mean, luckily for everybody, I don't think we have a McBride.
Not on the main slate if we care.
I mean, I am just curious. Okay, they are hanging it at 1.7. That might be in the expanded core if you're looking to roll it into a Monday sweat.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nez, but I guess what was the Bowers one at? Just so I see 1.52. Like,
God damn it, man.
I'm gonna put it in the idea box.
Thank you. I have two idea boxes, ideas here. From the same game, Addison or JMO, and I like Addison more. It's 1.5.
Yeah. I was debating between both of these for my Deposit Kingdom pick'em. So yeah, I'm I'm on board with both of those. Love that Addison at 1.5.
Let's play that as 3. I like that as 3. I really like what
Yeah.
we're doing here. Let's play
We
that
got
as 3, and then let's see what else we
18x
can
for these
do.
3.
Yeah. Tyreek 1.44, Bowers 1.52, Addison 1.51. That is your official Spike Core, Spice Core of the week.
Let's go. Oh, 19x. Hell yeah.
Let's get a couple BBMs on that bad boy.
All right, we expanding the spice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We starting with our core.
I think so.
Okay. Just so I know where to start. I'm following along.
Yeah, let me look at my sheet and tell you who is scoring a touchdown this week. Can we just see what? I'm just curious what the Aaron Jones is at. Do we think they have it?
I think it was it wasn't too bad. It was actually you're actually getting spice on that. It's not docked.
Yeah, that's why my search is lagging here.
1.18x for Aaron Jones.
Not bad. I wanted a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I have another one in the vein of our short kings. And again, my screen's freezing here. Can you look up what Tank Dell is?
1.25.
You had that off the dope.
Yeah, I was on it. I was on it too. Looking at like our speedy little WR2s. Yeah, he's 1.25.
We got Ayuk back here.
For the hate?
Yeah. 65.5 in terms of yardage for the hate. I also want to hate on Josh Jacobs not scoring a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just like flat even.
John, let me just make sure I'm interpreting this correctly. Are you proposing not necessarily an expanded hate core, but an alternative hate core, an alt haterade build?
If you want to phrase it as alt hatred, yes, we can phrase it as such.
All right, so it's Ayuk, Jacobs.
The question is it alt left or is it alt right of the main one here, John?
Let's guys, not on the show.
Joey hitting me with the chat. Here comes John, a segment behind in the pickup lobbies again.
Oh yeah, that was great.
It's a bit within itself now.
All right, so we have Ayuk lower. This is unprecedented, folks, to get a second leg of hate on this show.
Yeah, Jacobs lower on the touchdown scoring.
Okay.
Either or. So what you picked the rushing one there? That's probably docked a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took rushing or receiving because I like to remind the people that Josh Jacobs in his entire life has never had a receiving touchdown.
Let's see. That one
It's at the top. It's at the very top.
Oh, gotcha. Even. Yeah. And then what? Did we have one more hater angle?
What was our collective favorite from the first one?
So we had the Ayuk, we had the Mixon, and
we had the Pollard.
Pollard 90. I think maybe Pollard, but
Pollard again.
Yeah.
If we were gonna
it's
double
so
dip.
on brand. Yeah, it's so on brand to go back to the Pollard well.
All right. Here it is. We continue to hate.
16 rushing attempts.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, pick a lower.
Yeah, anyone pick a lower. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay. There it is. I see a lot of good suggestions for other hate. The hate really brings out the best in the chat. I am labeling this alt haterade for my notes here. Yeah. Okay. So now we need to go back to our expanded. We are now going to take the spice core and we are going to expand the spice core. This is like, this is for, I don't know why this is so fun for me, but it's like, people get really sick of like certain DFS terms. They're like, oh, don't say positive regression. Like that's not actually a thing or whatever. And all these terms. I want to create a new set of vocabulary that people hate. I want in about 2 weeks, people to be like, I never want to hear alt spice core again.
Yeah. Enough.
Do you like the Dell one?
I do.
John?
I do.
Oh, you were off the Stroud stuff, so you're not gonna like it.
No, but both you guys are on it, and I trust you guys. So the Dell, you're getting the 125. Seems all right.
John, do you have one that you want to expand this to?
Seeing as though I'm still a segment behind, I'm perusing the TD stuff right now.
Yeah.
Since this is an expansion, John,
Yep.
and Pete, do we dare look at like the primetime games?
Well, that's what I was wondering if we. I think we should have a McBride, like a Monday Night Hammer McBride on a Spice Bomb just feels like what the Lord
So
intended
sweaty.
for us.
so sweaty.
Is it crazy that AJ Brown's at 1.24? Like the safest take Dell? Is that
it's
crazy?
Crazy that you just said that out loud because I'm staring at him and Devonta at 1.52 seems both of those seem good without Goddard, and yeah.
I mean, AJ Brown at the same as Tank Dell. Like, I love my short king, but respectfully, he's not AJ Brown.
Right.
I'm with it. I mean, that's just a hell of a price. That's fantastic. For
that
AJ
gets
Brown.
us to 102 point. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's before I add McBride on after we go offline.
Well, yeah, what we could do is we could take our least favorite of the bunch out and then replace it with McBride and see what it looks like. Let's
take Dell out. I mean, okay. I like Dell, but staring at him next to AJ Brown there, I can't. He's getting like, it's the pick'em embodiment of the too small meme. I just see AJ Brown next to him right there with the same odds going like this.
Yeah.
So who are we replacing him with? McBride. Yeah, we needed this to be 140.
140.
It was really important that we did that.
I'm locking it in before Newbie says no. Dude, I cannot wait for McBride to ruin this on Monday Night Football. How about this? Here's a deal. Do you guys want to make a commitment? If this is live heading into Monday night, we will fire up some kind of sweat live hang for the McBride Tutty Watch.
We have to.
I'm good for Monday. I'm good for Monday.
And then we'll also be slamming all of these McBride lowers as a hedge as well.
I'm the hedge king, so of course.
Okay. All right. There you go. Some additional equity to this. So for the audio listeners, Jordan Addison, TD, Brock Bowers, TD, Tyreek Hill, TD, AJ Brown, TD, Trey McBride, TD.
Trey. Surely it can't fail us again.
Oh man. All right, guys. We mentioned we got the Nez nose strip stream tonight. What else do you guys got going on in the Badge Bros neck of the woods?
NBA season starts, right?
Say again.
Next week? NBA season next week?
Yeah, NBA season next week. Tuesday night, 2 games there. So I imagine we'll do something of the daily variety on either Monday or Tuesday. So that'll be a lot of fun, which means get your double dribbles in too. I'll be firing up some double dribbles over the weekend here for sure. Got to get at least, what do you think? What's an achievable number for me, Nez?
Where are you at?
I have no idea. Like 10?
10. Get to 25. Get to 25. They're a lot of fun, man. They're a ton of fun because you love scrolling down on the NBA slates and like you can really do that in the best ball streets there. I mean, TJ McConnell free for you in the last round. I'll be hammering. I'll be like multi-tabling the double dribbles and football all night post stream. Stream is strictly baseball, but yeah, double dribble season, get those in. I don't think that's going to overlay. I think that is going to feel very, very fast leading up to start of the season. So definitely get those in. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of streams on the Badge Bros channel. If you are interested in getting into the double dribble, we've done a lot of shows with Mike Zakarian. So definitely check those out if you need some advice.
Awesome. Again, I know both of us have mentioned it on our respective streams, but again, shout out to GoatNapped, who took down last week's Battle Royale, gifted 100 collective YouTube memberships across our channels, just king shit from GoatNapped. Thank you for paying it forward, and I expect your run good to continue accordingly.
that reminds me to run it back here. I said I would one up him this week and 51 for each of us if I ship the BR this week.
He did
So
say that.
I am one upping. I'm one upping Goatnap if I ship the BR this week.
You want me to too small you? I'll do 100. There you go.
Let's go.
Yeah. I have take Dell of this stream.
John goes 51. Come on, John. Don't be cheap. You take down 50K. You got 100 memes in you.
We got prices right up there. It's a hell of a prices right.
Also, because of that, so the way like you guys have just the one tier for the memberships, I have like the various tiers, and so it messes it up. But as a thank you for Goatnap doing that, so people don't have to adjust their tiers if they don't want to. I'm going to do both of my shows this week for any YouTube members on the channel. So if you got the gift from Goatnap, you'll be able to watch After Dark and the Cram. And I was a little inspired by Nez. I'm not going to have a nose strip, but I am going to roll a Saturday solo After Dark, do some drafts, build some teams, have some drinks. So if you guys got questions, want to hang out in the chat or whatever, and then the Cram on Sunday. And then I got the Deposit Kingdom video that'll go up here in about 15 minutes. We talked about some of the plays here on the show. Some of them we did not. So you can check that out. Anything else, guys?
What Baker Devils you gonna mush this week, Pete?
What do you? I think we have different definitions of the word mush, John. You mean said to the moon?
Mush so that the community actually succeeds alongside us.
Yeah. John just wants to pull up the ladder and then give out his 51 memberships once he's won. You know, you don't want to take that rising tide to the top, do you, John?
I would never. I would. I love the community winning more than I like winning. So I respect the hell out of it.
And even if that's not true, your play has been bearing that out at least, right, John?
It's true. It's true.
All right, guys, appreciate you hanging out here. We will see you guys next time on Off and on the Clock, and maybe we'll see some of you guys in the Badge Bros Winners Circle on Monday. Peace.